In the previous module, we used these two formulas to calculate the future value and the present value of a single cash flow. We used these formulas to calculate present and future values using annual interest rates and investments for a given number of years. However, the variables R and N in these formulas do not reflect annual values. The R in these formulas represents the interest rate per compounding period, and the N represents the number of compounding periods. The compounding period tells us how many times over the course of a year interest compounds. In other words, how often interest is calculated on the amount of money in an account and then added into the account. Sometimes this happens once a year, in which case the calculations we did in the previous module would be correct. But interest usually compounds more than once a year. For example, interest could compound semi-annually, which means twice a year, quarterly, which means 4 times a year, monthly, 12 times a year, fortnightly, 26 times a year. A fortnight is 2 weeks, so there's slightly more than 26 fortnights in a year, but that's the number that we use. Similarly, there are slightly more than 52 weeks in a year, but we use the number 52 for weekly compounding. And finally, daily compounding is taken to mean 365 times a year. Leap years are ignored. In order to calculate R in the present value and future value formulas, we need to divide the annual interest rate by the number of compounding periods per year. And to calculate N in those formulas, we need to multiply the number of years by the number of compounding periods per year